it started off as a seed, and now the seed is way bigger than what we would have ever have imagined or thought for it to be, man. Like when I put up the images that he created, I got so much positive response. I was like, man. It was crazy, man.
Yeah, yes, sir, man. So we're gonna get into this thing, man.
Let's get it.
Excited about it. So this your boy T-Von with my man Rodock Worthington, aka Mr. RVA. Once again, man, it's the second time that we get to link up. Super excited for the opportunity to interview you once again, man, and just learn more about who you are, how you got where you are, and, you know, ultimately what you want to do with, you know, the platform that you built for yourself. You know, just tell me about your background, man, where you grew up and how you think that affected who you are and ultimately the goals that you set for yourself.
Number one, excellent question. Number two, I'm happy that you and I are linking up on the second go round, man. I always love linking up with you, man. You know, it's always learn something. It's always a good time. Born and raised in Springfield, Virginia, in a community known as Newington Forest. And so the crazy part about it is that Fairfax County, AKA one of the richest counties in America during the time. Of course, I didn't know that until years later. I was born and raised two-parent household, both my mom and my dad. It was basically like an all-white neighborhood, man. I was probably the only Black kid in the neighborhood until my 9th grade year.
Wow.
When my friend Aaron came onto the scene, it actually was in the neighborhood with me. Needless to say, it was an odd experience because looking back at it, I think that it prepared me for the world that I'm living in now. It wasn't so much blatant racism, but there were undertones during that time. And even my mom and my dad, they were like, hey, we're not doing any type of sleepovers or anything because we want to make sure that you're okay. We always want to keep an eye on you. Even just riding my bike, they were like, hey, you're going to this particular house and then you're going to come back. And that house was only 2 houses away. I'm thankful for it on the flip side. And the reason why I say that is because the Northern Virginia area is like a huge melting pot. So I was experiencing a lot of different cultures during that time. Black, white, Asian, Indian. I was experiencing everything. But my mom and my dad also let me know that, hey, even though you're experiencing everything, even though you're fortunate enough to be in this environment, you also have to understand that you're a Black male on top of that. So you have to make sure. They always used to tell me this. You have to work twice as hard just to get half of what they have.
You had to talk. That's the talk that we have in the Black community. Because take it back, man. You grew up in a 2-parent household, middle class for the most part, nice neighborhood. And even still, with all those things that people would say, hey, if you have those 3 things, that's all you can ask for. That's like the American dream, so to speak. Still, we have to have the talk just because we're Black, man. Yeah. So I just wanted to take time to note that, man.
It was still tough because you still saw it, even though it wasn't blatant, but you still saw it. Like I never forget, we used to have a little cherry blossom tree, man. It used to bloom every single year. Beautiful, man. And of course, cherry blossom trees, when they grow, they're extra sturdy. And so me, 5-year-old, having a good time, I used to run around the tree and there was little branches and stuff like that were coming out from the tree. So I would hop on the branch or whatnot and just climb all throughout the tree. And I never forget, one day I was climbing through the tree and my parents were outside. And this white couple was walking their dog, came on through, and they looked up and saw me like having a good time and, in the tree. And they were like, look at that little boy, climbing like a little monkey. I didn't really know, but my mom and my dad was like, hey, get down out that tree. You know what I'm saying? Get down on that. And I'm thinking like I'm just having a good time, but they're like, nah, they're trying to protect me, even though I'm in the midst of having fun. And it was a lesson. And so they pulled me inside and we talked and they were like, hey, look, sometimes what you'll understand is that your color is not going to elicit some of the best or positive responses. Some people are always going to be racist. Some people are always going to have their little jokes in their mind that they think that they can get away with. Mm-hmm. And we have to go above that. We have to go high every single time, try to go high each time. I remember my homeboy, man, he was bouncing the ball down the street, bro. Bouncing the basketball down the street. And they called the cops on him. Cops surrounded him. He had to put his hands up, let them know that I'm not doing anything. Let them know I literally live right up the street. Even during that time, same exact thing. My mom and my dad made sure that we were like outstanding young men to challenge that narrative. Like a lot of times people will come, oh my God, Rodock and Brandon, which is my brother. Rodock and Brandon, they're well-behaved children. Like, how'd you get them to be so well-behaved? And
what would be the alternative? Like, what am I supposed to do as a parent? You know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying? But what it showed is that we have to do a little bit more just so that you can shine more, just to still get half of what they have. It really taught me and kind of instilled in me that particular moral compass.
Yeah, definitely. So grew up there in Northern Virginia, man. And ultimately you get to college, you pick VSU, Virginia State University, man.
Indeed.
Became a Trojan, man. So how did your upbringing and that experience that you had in Northern Virginia influence your decision to go to Virginia State?
One thing that I would attribute is my high school. My high school was Hayfield High School. They had a program known as College Partnership. And so what College Partnership was is that they will take minorities, talented individuals, and individuals that showed promise, I'll say that, and they will get us prepared and get our mindsets prepared for going to college. And I mean, we went to, William and Mary, we went to Radford, and these were literally trips that we would take over the weekend to these colleges, to visit these colleges, VCU, Virginia Tech. We would go all over the place. And that was to get us in the mindset of like, hey, you're getting ready to go to college or whatnot. But it wasn't until my mom, she took me for the first time, took me to Virginia State's homecoming. And I remember I was like, yo, this is a college? She was like, yeah, I went to this college, son. And I was like, oh, man, I'm looking around and seeing everybody that looks like me. I never forget, I was at the concession stand. It was a football game, of course, college. So football game is going on. And I went to go get like a hot dog or something from the stand. As I'm coming back, the band strikes up on the field. And I'm looking and I see these two individuals. They had to be like 6 foot tall. And you could tell that they were the only ones because they're like in the center of the field and everybody is like surrounding them. They're getting down and it's just the entrance. And I'm like, if this is what college is like, because I didn't see that at any other college. I just saw that at Virginia State. And I was like, my mom went here. My cousins went here. I'm seeing this band and I'm used to, and I'm gonna be real with you, I'm used to being in a chorus style band, AKA it was like, majority white band. Yeah. And in the middle of that, people would just get up and go to the concession stand. They don't care about what's going on the field. Man, every single person in that entire stadium was looking intently at the field and at the drum majors and at the band. And the band was literally the reason why people would come to the games and people would come to homecoming. So for me to see that, that's what elevated my thought process. Like, yo, I'm going to be around people that look like me. Keep in mind, I'm coming from an environment of years worth of people not really looking like me. So now I'm coming into like a place where people are looking like me and everybody's here to get a higher education. Like the main goal for everybody that is a part of Virginia State is to get a higher education, transformation through excellence. So, let's go for it. So the funny thing was, man, is that like, I didn't even look at predominantly white colleges or other colleges. I looked at historically Black colleges and universities. That's what I wanted to be a part of.
since you had been in that environment where, you were one of few and you wanted to have the college experience kind of be the alternate to that. Hey, I want to be around people that look like me, think like me, have similar experiences, and just be around your people. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be in that environment, man. So you think that was the reason?
You know what? I think that, but not only that, let me kind of shift it a little bit more. My mom and my dad afforded me the opportunity, and I never forget, they sat down and they said, we're going to give you this opportunity. If you want to go to a historically Black college or another college, hands down, you don't have to worry about anything. And if you decide to switch, then you decide to switch. Mm-hmm. And that's what gave me the comfort to say, okay, well, if I get to either one, if I don't feel like it's right, then I can easily hop and go to another. Yeah. So that's what gave me the assurance needed to say, okay, no matter what, I'm going to be covered. I'm going to be supported by my mom and my dad. But like I said, when you get there and you you get into that culture for the very first time, and like I said, it's just something where you're seeing Black all over. Mm-hmm. Different shades of melanin all over. Everybody with a common goal. Everybody having fun. Everybody being educated. Everybody moving to the next level and to the next step. You know what I'm saying? People are doing miniature achievements while they're there. Graduation, of course, being a part of a fraternity or sorority and going to the probate shows. Those type of things, when they become engrafted, and you're getting engrafted as soon as you mm-hmm. get there, it's almost like you don't want to leave. You get that experience, you understand that experience, but you don't want to cut that short and then go to another college or university. So, yeah, I will say that what you spoke of earlier was a part of it, but having that support from my mom and my dad that said, hey, no matter what, whatever college that you want to do, whatever educational experience that you want to have, we got you on the back end. That's what helped to push that.
I love to hear that family support, providing that cushion, as you said, to say, hey, this decision is up to you. Yeah. Ultimately, we're going to support you regardless. That allowed you the freedom to say, hey, I'm going to try this out. And if it doesn't work, then, I got plan B, but plan A, it worked out for you, man. I often envy my brothers and sisters that went to HBCUs, man, because I think that environment and that experience, man, is just all about brotherhood, sisterhood, camaraderie. My dad went to a HBCU. He went to St. Aug down in North Carolina. And 40 years out of school, man, still going back for homecoming, man. And that type of pull is not because of the school, man. It's because of the relationships that you built at that school and the pride that you have in going to a HBCU, man. So I envy that because I didn't have that experience. And pretty much everybody that I've met that have been to an HBCU has that experience, man. It's that pull that brings them back every fall for homecoming, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's crazy because I just had a talk with our drum majors just last night, talking about how and what we need to do to prepare for, next season and things of that nature. And again, this is somebody that's been removed from band for years now. And I'm still talking about, okay, what do I need to do in order to assist to pull the next legacy along, even at the age that I'm at now in comparison to where they're at. So, yeah, there's always that pulling and that comeback that one has when they're truly like engrafted into that college and that university.
I definitely agree, man. How do you think, based on all the stuff that's going on now, the unrest and the protest and, just the fight for to end systemic racism and social injustice, man, how do you think your experience at VSU prepared you for the fight? Those experiences can definitely instill a certain type of fight in you when you've been to an HBCU. And I'm not taking anything away from people like myself that went to a PWI, but I'm just interested in the perspective of how you see everything that's happening and how your involvement is kind of ingrained in you based on your college experience.
That's a very very good question, and it brings me back to orientation. I never forget, man. Orientation. We get there, you kind of unpack, or you put your room up as best as you can, and they already tell you like, hey, y'all have a meeting at the gym be there on time. If not, we're going to clock each and every one of you for being there on time. And I never forget, man, I was, mom and dad just dropped me off. They just dropped me off. I don't know too much about the college, except for that my mom and my cousins went there, and it's a historically Black college, right? And one of the things that the speaker said, I want to say it was the president during the time. He said, look, when you leave off the campus, because we know that you guys are going to do that, we want you to understand the area in which you are in right now. And I'm like, okay, what I'm saying? What's Petersburg? My grandma right up the road or whatnot, cousins out here. They were like, you're in what's known as Colonial Heights. And we have had a couple of students that have not come back after leaving the campus. And it has not turned favorable because they did not come back. And what we're trying to let you guys know is that you're not living in, quote unquote, the safest environments when you head outside of these walls. Within these walls, you're safe, you're good to go. Outside of these walls, you need to be paying attention about exactly what's going on and exactly what's around you, because what we don't want you to get caught up with is some of these racist individuals and these hateful individuals, and then you don't end up coming back and you're added to that list. And when that was told to me for the first time, bro, like, I was like, oh, okay. Now, keep in mind, at home, there was slight racism, but it wasn't that blatant. It wasn't the blatant racism. This was completely different. I've never had anybody tell me not to go into certain places in fear that you might not come back based upon the color of your skin. Not coming from Northern Virginia. I wasn't used to that. And we're still in the same state. It's not like I moved completely down south or was in Alabama or Mississippi. I might have even been able to understand that there. But maybe an hour and a half away, you're telling me that I can't go, 10 minutes up the street because then I go into a completely different environment that I'm not ready for. And I would leave. Sometimes I would leave and, go down the street and see the Confederate flags flying all over the place. Like all over the place, not just one or two. No, I'm talking about all over the place. We'll see the white pickup trucks with the Confederate flag on the back. What that did was that it let me know the America in which I lived in. But what it also did was it lit that fire in me to make sure that everything that was learned in the home and also everything that was learned in the college would flip the narrative. D.L. Hughley said it best. He said, the worst place for a Black man to live is in a white man's imagination. And so when they see me, they don't see a educated Black man. When they see me, they don't see a child that was brought up in a two-parent household that was in Northern Virginia, born and raised in an environment that was all encompassing. No, they don't see that. What they see is a thug. What they see is a violent individual. What they see is an animal. What they see is less than. So what that prompted up in me is a fire that was like, nah, I'm going to make sure that not only am I going to change that narrative, but I'm going to make sure the legacy that comes after me is going to do the exact same thing.
Oh, man, I love it, man. That was powerful, my brother. I don't even want to go any further on that. I think that's just powerful, man. It shows that experience that you had. And I'm very familiar with the area, man. I grew up in that area, so I know exactly what you're talking about, man. That's the way to turn them lemons into lemonade, man. And I love the aspect of it, of bringing people up behind you, man, because as part of the collective, as we are called, one of our mottos is each one teach one, man. And we always trying to bring up the next generation, pull somebody else up because somebody helped pull us up, man. So I love that part of your story there. Most people know you from Mr. RVA, man. You have Discovering RVA, a platform on social media where you talk about food, dining, and so forth in the Richmond, VA area, man. I love to hear, what sparked that and where you ultimately want to go with that platform, man, because you built up quite a following.
Yeah, never despise humble beginnings. I'll say that, man. Discovering RVA came from, it was a dark place during that time. I had just found out some infidelities that had gone on in my marriage. I was, contemplating the separation and all of that stuff, right? I never will forget the seed in which and the timing in which it was planted. So I was riding around 95. Like I said, I was pissed off because I had literally just found out. My mind was going all over the place. You know what I'm saying? I want to say maybe about 2 weeks. So I'm still fresh into the pain, to the hurt, to the turmoil. My emotions were all over the place. I wasn't focused right. And I was riding past the Richmond sign. It's like a brick, kind of like a brick little thing that says almost like welcome to Richmond type thing.
Yep.
And I was riding past that jump, man. I was crying, like tears was just running down my face, man. And I was angry. I was having a talk with God. I was like, God, and it wasn't like the normal prayer type thing. This wasn't like dost thou and this and I doeth loveth thou. Nah, this was like, God, all this stuff is effed up, man. And I was like going in.
Yeah.
I was like having a natural conversation in anger.
Yeah.
And so I was beating the steering wheel, man, pissed off. And I rode past that sign. I was like, God, I ain't even get a chance to take her to some of the restaurants that I wanted to take her to, do some of the things that I wanted to do for. And, I'm going in. And as soon as I said that, bro, it was like a voice sitting right next to me, like literally in the car with me. It was like, well, why don't you go ahead and take yourself to these spots? You know how stuff kind of jars you out of your norm or out of your rant? That voice jarred me out of it because I was like, that wasn't Rodock's thought process. So that night, I never forget, like I went to, I want to say it was like Yelp, and I started typing in top 25 romantic spots as far as from like restaurants in Richmond. Started writing all of them down, right? And so after writing them down, I went to the first couple of them or whatnot. And I was at work over at my job. Homeboy came up to me. He was like, man, Rodock, you got you got a couple pictures. You do a little write up. He was like, you ever thought to, kind of like put this together and like collect it? And he was like, because you really are doing something. I was like, nah, man, I ain't really thinking about it like that. And he was like, nah, but you really need to like kind of put this thing together. And as soon as he said it the second time, the name Discovering RVA popped into my mind. But the funny thing is that like what people would view it as is like Discovering Richmond, Virginia, which is, it looks like that, but it's a double entendre because what it really means is discovering Rodock in VA after the aftermath of knowing what had transpired in his life, in that marriage. So that's what prompted me to like go out and to start doing different things because I had to relearn myself all over again. When something like that traumatic happens to you, usually it will shake you out of your complacency and cause you to start doing things that's outside of your norm. That was definitely one of them. Eating by myself and trying these different foods and stuff like that. That was outside of what I would normally do. It was always in me, but it was still outside of my norm.
Yeah. Definitely. So what do you want to see happen with your platform, man? I mean, you have thousands of followers on social media, man. I know you're getting plenty of acclaim from the restaurants themselves. I mean, they know you when you come in there now. So what do you ultimately want to see happen with your platform, man? At
first, it was just an outlet for me. There was no goal involved with Discovering RVA. This was just something that was like, hey, this is for Rodock. This is for me. You know what I'm saying? Honestly speaking, I didn't care about how many people followed or anything. And I think that's what kept it genuine is because I didn't care. Mm-hmm. Like I was just like, hey, this is an outlet for Rodock. But now that it has grown and surpassed what I thought even remotely was going to happen. Number one, I want Richmond, my city, to be kind of put on the map a little bit more. Now, we have become like a food destination. Absolutely. Guy Fieri has came through a couple of different times. There's a couple of different individuals that are well known in the food industry that has came and tested out some of our spots and tried out and experienced Richmond as a whole. So I do want some of those hidden gems some of those things that are, or restaurants that are not so well known. I have no problem with chains. However, I want those spots that are not in that chain-like industry to be put out there a little bit more. That's number one. Number two, there's a reason why one of my slogans, or my main slogan, is a gentleman must know his city. The reason why I really put that, or really strive or stick behind that, is because as I leave out, I never leave out in casual clothes, ever. Every Wednesday, I always go as if I'm either going to the office or going to a formal event. And the reason why I do that is because I'm still me, or Mr. RVA. I still want to challenge the narrative, because I know that normally when servers see me, or servers see Black individuals, sometimes one of the first things that pop into their minds is, this man ain't going to tip, or he may run out on the bill, or he doesn't really know the menu like that. So I'm going to have to, kind of teach him the menu, or what these particular words say, and this and that and this and that. No, I want to challenge all of that. I want to come prepared. So usually I'll look at the menu and everything and already know in my mind exactly what I'm going to get ready to have. You can hand me the menu, that's fine. But I already know what I'm going to get. I already know how I'm going to write it up. I already know how I'm going to interact with each person, because I want you to understand that we are not who you think that we are. We're not in your imagination. You know what I'm saying? We don't live in your imagination. So that's another side of it, is showing individuals that, hey, these people, they about something. This man is about something. Because a lot of times they're like, are you with the party? Nope. Is there a business meeting? No, there's no business meeting. Are you waiting for a date or anybody? No. I actually made a reservation a long time ago. Just check under Worthington. You'll see that it's only one individual, because I'm challenging that. And I see it sometimes. Like I'll look at different hosts as they see me for the first time. They're kind of like taken back, because here I am, nicely dressed, vest on, button down shirt, tucked in, slacks, wingtip shoes, of course, either a fedora or a news cap, to make sure that there's a particular presence that is portrayed as soon as I walk in.
Love it, man. So part of the reason I'm interviewing you again, man, is because, we're building upon this universe that we've come to call the collective, man, of us brothers that we've interacted and come into contact with each other professionally in some form of fashion, and actually build a friendship beyond that. And want to present out to the world, much as you just said, man, a positive image of Black masculinity that we often feel is not portrayed enough. So how do you see yourself fitting into the collective, and how do you see the collective actually being a part of your world? And what do you want to see the collective actually go out and do and accomplish?
I love it. One of the first things is that I was welcomed in with open arms. It's crazy, because I remember talking to Ira a while back, and, he was telling me about, y'all being in a group chat. And I was like, well, shoot, add me to the group, yo. You know what I'm saying? Y'all have been talking all this stuff. I don't know what y'all talking about. Add me to the group. And so as I was added into the group, I saw like everybody that I knew, and I saw people that I did not know. And I see that we were all like in there together. We all have our own niche, our own thing that we do that makes us unique. The collective, it sounds like a superhero group. Like how you have the Avengers, or like how you had the League of Justice. That collective sounds like a superhero group. And like each one of us has our own abilities, our innate abilities, our own quote unquote superpowers, if you will, that we want not only to be kept on the inside, that we know that can help us, but we also need to push that out so that people can see and dispel the villain of the imagination. I feel like what we're doing is so powerful because it's flipping the mindsets of individuals. When they see us in the suits and they see us with certain props that we're holding, signs and bridges and wine glasses and things of that nature, it's challenging what the mindset originally thought. So when you see those images of us that Talon has graciously created, it flips the narrative immediately. So not only are you getting words, but now you're getting visual on top of it. So I love it. I love what we do, and I love the information that we share between each other. Like, honestly speaking, man, we go from politics, we flip to sports, we turn around and talk financial wealth. You know what I'm saying? We talk about educating ourselves. We talk about just laughing and joking and having a good time. And then we'll talk about business. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of facets that we have going on within that group, on not like once a week. This is on a daily occurrence in which we're building each other up. And right now, I'm all about evolution, becoming a better gentleman, becoming a better man. And so what this group does and allows is for that particular thought process to have a place in which to grow and which to elevate. So I love it. My hope, even within Discovering RVA, is number one, we have individuals that are entrepreneurs in there. I'm talking to one right now. You have a podcast and an apparel line for Yes, We're Articulate. What I would like to do, as far as from the way that I look at it, is, hey, here's another avenue in which to promote yourself, to promote how great you are. And the thing that I love about it so much is that the quality of work that we all put in, whether it's a blog, whether it's a podcast, whether it's financial, whether it's market consulting, all the work that we put in is always excellent and quality work. So I love that, because now I can say I'm attached to this. It's all about branding. You already know, like, you never want to attach yourself to something that's not quality. We have quality work and quality that's produced with these individuals that I love so much. You know, and another thing that I would love, especially from my perspective, is I get that I am learning about, you know, the Richmond area and learning about these different restaurants and things of that nature. So as I learn about them, I want to then give that to my bros, because my bros are either single, they're married, or they're possibly in a relationship, you know? So what better way, because majority of the time people connect over food. As a matter of fact, if you think about it, the mom connects with the baby immediately through food. So that's the reason why, to me, food is so important, and it's a connective avenue in which to be able to talk and to converse and to share ideas at a table and to even learn about one's culture as you're eating on top of that. So that's what I hope that I will bring, is that facet. And then as Discovering RVA grows, anything else that I can do or that I have learned, I can then pass on to my bros.
I love it, man. I'm going to go ahead and end it, man, because I think we've had a lot of quality conversation, man. Love hearing your story, love hearing your passion, man, and just love to be attached to you, man. Our group, man, is quality, man, and I feel fortunate to be a part of the group and to know that I'm attached to a bunch of gentlemen, man, that are out here doing positive things and flipping that narrative, as you stated earlier, man. So keep doing what you're doing. We gonna keep pushing you. I know you're gonna keep pushing us, man, and just enjoy talking to you, brother. And I'm happy that I get a chance to share your story once again, man. So appreciate you taking the time, sitting down with me. Nothing but positivity to you, man. For real.
Man, likewise, man. You already know. I can't wait until the next time we sit down to bring back. You already know, man. I love what you do. I love how you're taking the time out of your day as well, too, to put these conversations together, trying to elevate and pushing that narrative and flipping the narrative and getting out excellence. And I love it, man. I love it. So anything that I can do for not only Talon, but anybody, y'all just let me know, man. I'm here for you. Real talk.
No doubt, man. Well, enjoy the rest of the evening, man. Again, thanks for sitting down with me, man. Appreciate it, brother.
Absolutely, bro.
Have a good one, man.
Likewise, partner.